Your cat hacks, heaves, that whole body shudders, and up comes a wet, matted cigar of fur onto your carpet. And like almost every cat owner, you sigh, grab a paper towel, and think nothing of it, because everybody knows cats just get hairballs. That is normal cat stuff. But what if I told you that is one of the most dangerous myths in all of cat care? Because a hairball is not actually a normal, healthy event. It is a symptom. And while the occasional one is nothing to worry about, a cat bringing them up often is a cat whose body is telling you something is wrong, sometimes something serious. And there is one version of this, one specific thing your cat can do that is a true, life-threatening emergency that owners brush off as just another hairball every single day. I am Dr. Leo Tran, your neighborhood vet, and today I am going to show you what is really happening when your cat coughs up a hairball, exactly how often is too often, the emergency sign you must never ignore, and how to actually fix the cause instead of just cleaning the carpet. Stay with me, because this is the video that reframes something you thought was harmless. Let me start with what a hairball actually is, because the truth is a little surprising. Your cat is a grooming machine. That rough, sandpapery tongue is covered in tiny backward-facing barbs that catch loose and dead hair as your cat licks, and because those barbs all point toward the throat, the only place that captured hair can go is down. Your cat swallows it, so every single day, a healthy cat is swallowing fur. Now here is the key. In a healthy cat, that swallowed hair simply passes through the stomach, through the intestines, and out in the stool, completely unnoticed. The digestive system is designed to move it right along. A hairball, what we technically call a trichobezoar, only forms when that hair does not move through the way it should. Instead, it stays in the stomach, clumps together, builds up, and eventually the cat has to vomit it back up. So read that again, because it is the whole point of this video. A hairball is hair that failed to pass through normally. It is not the system working. It is, in a small way, the system failing. The question is just how big that failure is. So let us answer the question everyone has. How often is normal, and how often is too much? Here is the rule I give my clients. An occasional hairball, say one every couple of weeks, or even once a month, in a cat that is otherwise happy, eating well, and thriving, is generally nothing to worry about, especially in a long-haired cat or during heavy shedding season. That is the low end of normal. But here is the line that matters. A cat that is bringing up hairballs once a week or more often has a problem. That is not normal, no matter how common it is. Frequent hairballs mean either your cat is swallowing far more hair than it should, or its digestive system has lost the ability to move that hair through, or, very often, both at once. So if you are cleaning up hairballs weekly, or finding them around the house regularly, please stop filing it under normal cat behavior. Your cat is showing you a symptom, and it is worth finding out why. Now, before we go further, I have to give you the emergency sign, because this is the part that can save your cat's life, and it is the part owners miss most. Picture your cat hunched, retching, heaving, going through all the motions of bringing up a hairball again and again, but nothing comes out. Just dry, repeated, unproductive retching. If you see that, especially paired with your cat not eating, acting tired or withdrawn, or not having normal bowel movements, treat it as an emergency and call your vet right away. Here is why. Sometimes a hairball grows too large to be vomited back up, and instead it gets pushed down into the intestines, where it can lodge and create a complete blockage. A blocked intestine is a true surgical emergency. HeyGen API is okay. It's deployed using Coolify, like our other apps. I'm not going to use my main Hagen account yet, so I will create another dummy account for testing after setting up the app. Nothing can pass, the gut begins to suffer, the cat becomes very sick very quickly, and without treatment it can be fatal. So the rule is simple, and I want it burned in your memory. A cat that keeps trying to bring up a hairball but produces nothing is not having a normal hairball. That is a red alert. Do not wait overnight. Get them seen. All right, for the much more common situation, the cat with frequent but productive hairballs, let us talk about why. Because remember, the hairball is a symptom, and there are two big buckets of causes. The first bucket is too much hair going in, and that almost always means overgrooming. A cat that is licking itself excessively swallows far more hair than normal. And that overgrooming is usually itself a sign of something. fleas or a flea allergy, a food or environmental allergy making the skin itch, parasites, pain in a particular spot, or stress and anxiety driving a cat to overlick as a coping habit. So frequent hairballs can be the visible clue to an itchy, uncomfortable, or stressed cat. The second bucket is the hair not coming out the other end, and that points to the digestive tract itself. Conditions like inflammatory bowel disease, food intolerances, and disorders of gut motility all slow or disrupt the normal movement of material through the intestines, so the swallowed hair backs up and clumps instead of passing. Chronic frequent hairballs are, in fact, one of the classic signs of underlying gastrointestinal disease in cats, and they are too often dismissed for years. And of course, sometimes it is both at the same time, an itchy cat overgrooming and a sluggish gut that cannot keep up. The point is the same. The hairball is the smoke. We need to find the fire. So how does your vet find that fire? This is where a real exam matters, because the cause changes the cure completely. Your vet will look closely at the skin and coat, checking for fleas, for bald or overgroomed patches, for signs of allergy, because a hairball problem that is really a skin problem gets solved by treating the skin. They may recommend a strict flea control trial or a hypoallergenic diet trial to chase down an allergy. And if the skin looks fine but the hairballs keep coming, the suspicion shifts to the gut, and your vet may suggest blood work, imaging like an X-ray or ultrasound, or other tests to look for inflammatory bowel disease or a motility problem. This is exactly why I do not want you to just keep buying hairball treats and shrugging. Those products manage the symptom, but if the real cause is a flea allergy or inflammatory bowel disease, your cat keeps suffering underneath while you mop up hairballs. Find the cause, fix the cause. Now let me give you the practical playbook. The things that genuinely reduce hairballs, starting with the simplest and most powerful. Number 1, by far, is brushing. This is the single best thing you can do, and it is so simple. Every hair you capture with a brush is a hair your cat does not swallow. Brush your cat regularly, daily for long-haired cats, a few times a week for short-haired ones, and you dramatically cut the amount of fur going in. Most cats, with a little patience, come to love it. Number 2, support healthy digestion and motility, because we want that hair moving through and out, not clumping in the stomach. Good hydration is key here, so wet food, multiple water bowls, and a fountain all help keep things moving. A diet with the right fiber helps carry hair through the gut, which is exactly how specialized hairball control foods work, and a vet-recommended fiber supplement can do the same. Number 3, the hairball remedies, those flavored gels and pastes. Used correctly, they act as a gentle lubricant that helps swallowed hair slide through the digestive tract instead of building up. They can genuinely help, but, and this is important, they are a management tool, not a diagnosis. If your cat needs them constantly, that is your signal to dig deeper with your vet, not to just buy a bigger tube. Let me tell you about a cat named Biscuit, because she shows how this all connects. Biscuit was bringing up a hairball almost every week, and her family assumed she was just a hairball-prone cat, so for over a year they fed her hairball treats and cleaned the carpet. When they finally mentioned it at a checkup, we looked closer and found she was over-grooming her belly. The fur there was thin and broken. The hairballs were not really a stomach quirk. They were the downstream result of an itchy flea allergy driving her to lick herself raw and swallow all that hair. We got her on proper flea control, the itching stopped, the over-grooming stopped, and the weekly hairballs all but disappeared. A year of treating the symptom when the real answer was a flea allergy the whole time. That is why frequent hairballs deserve a real look, not a shrug. Let me say a bit about which cats struggle with this most, because it helps you know your own risk. Long-haired breeds, your Persians, Maine Coons, and Ragdolls simply have more hair to swallow, so they are far more prone to hairballs, and they need the most brushing help from you. Heavy shedding seasons, usually spring and fall, ramp it up for every cat as the coat turns over. Indoor cats, with their year-round climate-controlled shedding, often shed more steadily than nature intended. And here is a subtle one many people miss. In a multi-cat home, cats often groom each other, what we call allogrooming, which is sweet, but it means they are swallowing each other's fur too. And anxious cats, or cats in a tense multi-cat household, frequently overgroom as a way to self-soothe, swallowing extra hair on top of everything else. So a hairball problem can quietly be a stress problem wearing a different costume. I want to come back to that grooming and stress link for a moment, because it is the connection owners almost never make. Grooming, for a cat, is not just hygiene, it is self-soothing. It releases calming chemicals in the brain. So a cat under pressure, from a new pet, a move, a change in the household, a conflict with another cat, or even boredom, will often groom more and more to comfort itself. That excess licking swallows excess hair, and out come the hairballs. If your cat's hairball spiked after some change in the home, that is a real clue. The fix there is not just a brush. It is lowering the stress, with more play, more vertical space and hiding spots, a predictable routine, and sometimes calming pheromone diffusers. Treat the anxiety, and the overgrooming, and the hairballs often ease together. Since brushing is the most powerful tool you have, let me make sure you actually do it well, because technique matters. Match the tool to the coat. A stainless steel comb or a slicker brush works for most cats, and for heavy shedders, a desh-heading tool that reaches the undercoat removes an astonishing amount of loose fur. Go gently, in the direction the fur grows, and pay attention to the back, the sides, and the base of the tail where loose hair collects. Keep sessions short and pleasant at first, a minute or two paired with praise or a treat, so your cat learns to enjoy it rather than dread it. For a cat that hates being brushed, start where they like to be petted, the cheeks and chin, and slowly expand from there. Even a reluctant cat usually comes around when the brush becomes part of a calm, rewarding routine. And remember the simple math. Every clump of fur in your brush is a clump that never becomes a hairball on your carpet or a mat in their gut. Let me also set your expectations for the vet visit, so you know it is worth going. If your cat's hairballs are frequent, your vet becomes a detective. They will start with a careful look at the skin and coat, because so often the trail leads to overgrooming, and they may run a quick check for fleas and parasites, or recommend a strict flea control and diet trial to chase an allergy. If the skin is healthy but the hairballs persist, attention turns to the gut, and they may suggest blood work to check overall health, and imaging like an X-ray or ultrasound to look at the intestines, because chronic frequent hairballs are one of the quiet, classic signs of inflammatory bowel disease and other digestive disorders in cats. None of this is excessive. It is how you tell the difference between a cat that just needs more brushing and a cat with an itchy allergy or an inflamed gut that needs real treatment. Knowing which one you are dealing with is the whole game, and it is why a frequent hairball cat deserves a proper look rather than another tube of paste. A quick word on food and remedies done right, because this is where you can help every day. A specialized hairball control diet is not a gimmick. It works by packing in the right kind of fiber that gently sweeps swallowed hair through the gut and out the proper way, instead of letting it pile up in the stomach. For many cats, that simple food switch noticeably cuts the hairballs. You can get the same effect with a vet-recommended fiber addition, like a small amount of plain pumpkin or a psyllium supplement, but check the amount with your vet first. Pair that with real hydration, wet food, fresh water in several spots, and a fountain, because a well-hydrated gut moves things along far better than a dry one. And if you use the lubricant gels, use them as a helper alongside these habits, not as a substitute for them. The goal is always the same. Keep less hair going in with the brush and help what does go in pass smoothly through, so it leaves in the litter box instead of on your living room floor. Before I wrap up, let me clear up the myths, because they are exactly what keep cats suffering. Myth 1. Hairballs are just a normal part of being a cat. Occasional ones, fine, but frequent ones are a symptom, not a fact of life. Myth 2. All cats get hairballs, so there is nothing to do. There is plenty to do, starting with a brush and ending with finding the cause. Myth 3. A cat retching with nothing coming up just has a stubborn hairball. No. That can be a life-threatening blockage, and it is an emergency. And myth 4. Hairball treats solve the problem. They manage one symptom while the real cause, an allergy, stress, or gut disease, may roll on untreated. See the hairball for what it is, a clue. So here is what I want you to take away. The next time your cat brings up a hairball, do not just reach for the paper towel and forget it. Ask the questions. How often is this happening? Is it more than once a week? Is my cat overgrooming, or itchy, or stressed? Is the coat thinning anywhere? And above all, is my cat ever retching and producing nothing? Because that is the one that cannot wait. An occasional hairball is fine. A frequent one is a message. And learning to read that message is how you catch an allergy, a stressor, or a gut problem early and keep your cat comfortable and healthy for years. If this changed how you see that little cigar of fur on the carpet, do me one small favor and tap the like button because it helps me reach other cat owners who are shrugging off something their cat is trying to tell them. Hit subscribe so you never miss our cat health breakdowns, and tell me in the comments, how often does your cat get hairballs, and have you